to the vlog. Hope you've all had a lovely couple of weeks. I'm in the studio today and I've brought some fabric up to show you. I'm just looking because it's such a beautiful sunny day today. It is glorious, one of those like lovely spring days that makes everyone think that summer's here, and then we'll probably have a month of pouring rain and think, oh, why did we get carried away putting our winter wardrobes away? But today is beautiful, but this is obviously very bright, so I'm hoping it's not distracting, but it was the best way I could get this all set up. So today we have had a lovely delivery of jerseys and I wanted to have a little chat with you about them. I thought I would show you some of the designs that we've got, some of the prints, and also I get so many questions about sewing with jersey that I thought if I can just try and answer them whilst I'm showing you them, it would be useful as well as very pretty to look at. So one of the questions we get a lot is, what is the difference between cotton jersey and viscose jersey? And our cotton jerseys are always really popular, and the viscose jerseys I think people worry are a little bit trickier to work with. So let me show you. So for example, this beauty, which is called Lilac Garden, is a viscose jersey. And that means that although it's knitted, i.e. created in the same way as a cotton jersey, the weave is the same, it's made up of a different fibre. It's made up of viscose and some other things. Let me just hold it up. Now this is the only thing we're doing this up here. I've just realised I don't have the tabletop to balance the fabric on to show you. Look how pretty that print is, and because it's a viscose jersey, it's a little bit lighter weight than cotton. Viscose jersey tends to have a bit more drape, a bit more movement, and be a little bit stretchier. So it's really good for patterns that obviously require drape and flowiness, but also things that need a little bit less rigidity. So something like a wrap dress where you want it to kind of wrap around your curves. Say a body, I'm actually wearing a body now that's very fitted, and you want it to kind of stretch all around your curves. That was a bit of a weird maneuver. Viscose jersey can be really good for that. Viscose jersey can also be really good, as I say, when you want more fluidity. So I actually have this fabric cut out at the moment for a Friday Pattern Co. Adrienne blouse. I'll pop a picture up here. Because of those balloon sleeves, they are amazing. If I make them in a cotton jersey, it's going to be a little bit more structured and they're going to stand out a little bit more. Whereas I like them in a viscose jersey because you still get some of that shape and that statement, but they're not quite so bold as I would get with a cotton jersey. So yeah, viscose jersey is really lovely. It's just that bit lighter, drapier and stretchier. So I would normally use a set of stretch needles to sew viscose jersey, as opposed to jersey needles, which I would use for cotton jersey. I have done a whole video on top tips. Let me just pulling that chair up so I can pile my fabric up. I have done a video on top tips for sewing with jersey previously, so I will try and link that down below. I'll pop that behind there. So cotton jersey, let's have a little look. With this one, spring posy cotton jersey in coral. And then we also have, the reason I was staring at it is because I know there is another one. I love these, I cannot wait to show you these, right here. So we also have it in the navy. So let me just undo this and I can show you. So cotton jersey, as I say, it's a little bit more stable. If you're new to sewing with knits, I'd always recommend starting with a cotton jersey just to get you familiar with working with stretch. I would use, because it's a bit more stable, I would use a jersey needle, a ballpoint needle. There's just slightly different types, so you get stretch which I would use for fabric that's got more like four-way stretch, a little bit more movement, as I say, things that have got higher lycra content, viscose jerseys, things like that. And then for the more stable knits, like cotton jerseys, ponte romas, things like that, I would use a jersey needle. This, can you see, when I pull this, it doesn't stretch as much as the viscose jersey, and although you can't feel it, it is a little bit heavier. So this is really nice when you want something that is fitted but kind of skims rather than clings around. Viscose jersey can kind of cling all over the place, which is really handy, as I say, for things like bodies and very fitted patterns. Whereas this cotton jersey will fit you, but it won't, it will kind of skim over things. So sometimes people just prefer it for that reason. But yeah, these two are really lovely. I really love the floral prints on those. Let me hide it up and do my, ooh. Sorry, because I know it changes the light, so I'm hoping you can see this. We have that in the navy, as I say, and then also the coral colourway. Those two look so beautiful together. Let me tuck that here. Quite often I get asked how best to cut jersey, because sometimes it can be a little bit tricky cutting it out. The edges can roll a little bit. My favourite thing to do is to use a rotary cutter and a cutting mat. So there's some tucked under here, but when I'm cutting for dressmaking, I've got some really large cutting mats, and that way I put the pattern weights on top and you're pressing downwards to cut out, rather than when you are pinning every time you pin, it kind of lifts your fabric a little bit, and then when you're cutting with scissors, even if you are keeping the bottom of your blade on the worktop or whatever you're cutting out on, you're still lifting it up a little bit. So I find that using a rotary cutter presses down, and that helps minimize the kind of curling of the edges as well. But because of the nature of jersey and how it's woven, you will get some curling of the edges. Obviously, you can give everything a good press. The more you stretch it, the more it will curl in as well. So try, when you're working with it, to only stretch the bits that you need to stretch as you're working. Don't sort of sit there and stretch all your pieces out to look at them. I feel out of breath. Am I speaking really fast? Maybe I am. Sorry if so. Maybe I'm just so excited talking about stretch fabrics that, yeah, I feel out of breath. I just had to show you this one because I have this cut out as well. This is, ta-da! This is, it's called Glitter Lips Cotton Jersey. I'm going to stand up and show you it a bit closer. I'm hoping you can see. Actually, I reckon if I take it away, there we go. Is that better? It is a white background with different kisses on it, different lipstick kisses, like the glittery ones, every now and again. And I just think it's beautiful, and it's going to look so nice. I've got a Tilling the Buttons Agnes cut out of it. I'm going to wear it tucked into like light blue jeans, and yeah, I just think it's really fun, but actually really, really wearable. I really like it. That's that one. Another question I get asked, especially at this time of year, is what kind of jersey fabric can you use for something that's a little bit heavier, a little bit more structured, that isn't like a heavyweight ponte roma or kind of double knit, things like that. And my favourite is French terry. So we've got a French terry here that I absolutely love. Let me just show you. This is called Camilla Pink French Terry, and it's just ever so slightly heavier than the cotton jerseys. Look at that print. Can you tell I like a good floral? on a dark background. Really nice for spring because it's really nice and transitional, and you've got the darker background and the brighter colours. And then on the back, hoping you'll be able to see, you've got that kind of loop back weave, which is traditional for French terry. This is really nice for, say, joggers. The Hudson pants would work really nicely in this. There is, I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head, but I had planned to make it. It's a Tilly and the Button wrap top, and I think that would sew up really nicely in this. It'd be like a nice, almost a bit like a cardigan. Anything that, as I say, you just want it to be a little bit heavier weight. You can sew dresses in it, they'll just be a little bit heavier, which again, the kind of spring and autumn, when you don't want it to be really lightweight. French terry can be brilliant. And then we have got a couple more cotton jerseys that I wanted to show you just because I love the prints. This is called Magnolia May cotton jersey. So pretty. So pretty. With all those pink colours. So then there's Magnolia, which it probably is. I say that, this is Lucy's name. I thought it looked a bit like a camellia, but maybe it's not. Some of you probably garden and know better than me, but again, I love the contrast of the dark base colour with the bright floral. That's a cotton jersey. And then this one is called Poppy Paradise, also a cotton jersey. Let me unwind this one. Something else I get asked quite a lot is, do I have to sew jersey on an overlocker? No, absolutely not. You can sew jersey on your normal sewing machine. As I say, I have done a video with top tips for sewing jersey, but all you need to make sure is that you've got the right needle in your machine, so a ballpoint needle, as I say, like a stretch or a jersey needle. Because the end of the needle, the tip of the needle is rounded rather than pointed, so it will move the fibres out of the way rather than piercing them, which is what a standard needle would do, and you'll often get skipped stitches. So you need to change your needle and you need to use the correct stitch. So if you use a straight stitch on jersey, as soon as you stretch it, like so, you will find that it pops. So what you want to do is either use a stretch stitch on your sewing machine if your sewing machine has one. They tend to look a bit like a lightning bolt, sorry. And then there's movement in the stitch, or just use a narrow zigzag stitch. And then again, if you imagine that zigzag line stretching out into a straight line, you've got a lot more room for your stitch to stretch. So much alliteration. I love this. Really like this one. Really pretty. That's that one. Something else I often get asked about is hemming. So there are a few different ways you can hem your knit projects. First thing I feel like I should point out, because this is very lazy of me, but when I make certain things, they say tops, if I know I'm going to always tuck them in, I don't worry about hemming them. Really naughty, but I just know there's certain tops. So the Agnes, I only ever wear it tucked into my jeans, so I just don't really worry about hemming it. I'm not saying that's what you should do, I'm just saying it's okay if you're like me. Because jersey doesn't fray, you don't have to finish your seams and you don't have to hem if you don't want to. And actually, even if you look at ready-to-wear garments, sometimes if they're made from jersey, sometimes they will have a raw edge, and that's just part of the style of the design. But if you want to hem them, there are a couple of different things you can do. So you can just do a turn and stitch hem, like a single layer, fold, press it, and then stitch it with a narrow zigzag, like you would have sewn your seams with. You can use a double needle, which we do have those in the shop as well, but I forgot to bring them up. But that has a single tip that goes in just like your normal needle, but it has two needles, so you can stitch two lines of stitches parallel to each other. That gives a really nice finish, looks quite similar to what you get on ready-to-wear garments. Can take a bit of practice getting used to using it on your sewing machine. Or you can use, if you have one, you can use a cover stitch machine, which is my newfound obsession. We've got a cover stitch machine here in the studio and I love it. And I am probably going to do a little video just showing you what it's for, because I always thought I didn't need one, and I definitely don't, but I do love using it. So you could cover stitch your hems as well. And a couple of tips when you're sewing your hems to stop you from getting wavy hems. Definitely try not to stretch your fabric too much. The more you're stretching your fabric, the more your stitches are going to be too short for the fabric. So then when you let go of it, it's going to end up with a wavy hem. So try not to stretch too much as it goes through the machine. The other thing you can use is this really handy Wonder tape. So this is like double-sided sticky tape. It's really fine and it kind of acts as a bit of an interfacing. So if you pop it under your hem, in fact you can see here a little picture, if you pop it under your hem and then stitch over it, it gives your stitch something to kind of grip onto, and again just helps with that waving. And when you wash your garment, this will just disappear in the wash. Really, really handy stuff. I'll link all of the tools down below as well. So yeah, hemming knits, there's a couple of different ways you can do it. And this last one I want to show you is really beautiful. This is a cotton jersey as well. This is Cornflower Blue cotton jersey. Just a bit of a change from the darker backgrounds. I know I showed you a few with the darker backgrounds. This one's got the light blue, or the cornflower blue. Again with those beautiful colours. I just think everything looks so summery and nice. It just makes me feel happy. Like I've spent a lot of time wearing dark colours over the last few months, and now I'm kind of opening my wardrobe up and getting all of my spring summer clothes out. It just makes me smile. It's the same with my fabric choices. So that's that one. I really, really like that one. Mentioned in my previous video about jersey as well, if you have one or you're thinking you're going to sew a lot of jersey, I would consider investing in a walking foot, also known as an even feed foot, because it just helps your fabric be stretched equally from the top and the bottom. Obviously your sewing machine has air feed dogs in it that move the fabric through, those little bumpy bits under your presser foot. And with a walking foot, that has its own feed dogs as well. So then they move the top of the fabric as well as the bottom of the fabric. And it is a really good investment if you're planning on sewing a lot of jersey. Some machines even have like a built-in walking foot, which I think is amazing. So I'm hoping I've managed to show you a few beautiful fabrics and answer a few of your jersey questions. I put a post on our Instagram page, which I'll link to down below, the other day with my 5 top tips for beginners sewing jersey, which might have a couple of other things I haven't covered off in here. Oh, one more thing I would say, really, really key, is to use good quality thread when you're sewing with jersey. Jersey can be a lot more temperamental when you're using maybe unbranded fluffier threads and things. You'll get a lot of skip stitches, or you can get a lot of skip stitches. So try and use a good strong branded thread, Gutermann coats, etc., and you'll get less skip stitches that way too. So there you go, quick whistle stop tour of some of the new fabrics in the shop. Hopefully I've answered some of your questions, and if you've got any other questions on jersey, drop them in the comments down below and I will try and do like a follow-up video. The video I did on jersey was a few years ago now, and I think it's had something like, it's definitely had over 100,000 views, and I keep thinking I must do an updated version where I just answer all of the questions that have come up in the comments. So what I might do is take the questions from that and the questions from this video and do another video on jersey, because let's face it, we all, I think a lot of us really like the idea of sew with knits, but maybe find it a little bit more intimidating, or we start sewing with knits and aren't quite sure what to do. And I'm really happy to help you if I can. So I hope you found that useful. If you have, give us a little thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more of our videos, and I will see you again very soon. Take care, guys. Bye.